Welcome to the Sold Too Early Sports Card Podcast, licensed to make your day better or worse. That's Kai. I'm a pajama podcaster, and that's Mind Cycle Cards. Ryan, how the hell are you guys doing, man?
Doing good. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, dude, of course. I also will take some credit there. I did not recognize the fact that my cover was on my microphone until I started doing the intro. So thank God.
That sounds a lot louder now. Yeah.
I am in a very interesting place right now. I am somehow going to try and buy a house today. Literally did not expect that to happen. I am really fucking confused. This has been an interesting day. Please, guys, make this an easy episode for me.
I thought you were going on Sunday.
Kai, I thought a lot of things. This has been a very interesting 2 hours. I don't have time to go on Sunday. This house could be sold before then, so I kind of have to do this like now.
Yeah.
You have to move quick in the market nowadays, man.
Literally have to move quick. But let's move aside from the real estate market and talk about the sports car market. Things have been very interesting. We are prepping for a Dallas card show. Kai and I will actually be set up together in Dallas starting tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Starting podcast comes out on Wednesday. You know, it's not inaccurate to say that. I'll be set up Thursday. Kai, I'm not sure when you're showing up. Either Thursday night.
Be there really early Thursday. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you'll actually be set up on Thursday with me.
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting show. I think that there is actually kind of a potential. The show is kind of just okay. There's been a lot of traveling going on in the sports card world with National, with Burbank, Fanatics Fest. The following week is San Diego and Atlanta. And then I think also Minnesota's in there somewhere too. There's a lot of shows happening right now. So, Ryan, do you happen to travel to any card shows? I know you're more actually like in this for the hobby perspective, but I'm curious to see like what you generally tend to do.
Never traveled specifically to a card show. We do have occasionally here in Denver, where I'm from, like a larger card show every couple months, and then smaller ones, throughout the year. But would like to make it to like a national sometime, but it just never like found the justification to spend all that money. Not on my family, on going on a regular vacation. That's always the issue.
How dare you have good priorities? What, you love your family and want to do fun things and not go to a card show? What a monster. Next thing you're going to tell me is that you really just hate Topps Chrome because it's not what you enjoy.
Right. Well, 2024 Topps Chrome at least.
Well, yeah. 2024. It is it looks like dog shit. I'm sorry. Like, I know that, Ryan, you've posted about this a lot. I think that most people would agree with you. Visually, Topps Chrome is not looking great for basketball. Football, I would actually say, is acceptable for this year stuff. But the basketball, a lot of them just are pretty poorly designed, don't look the best. They're using a lot of weird poses, just like feels kind of rushed, which is odd because I think they announced this about a year ago, give or take.
Yeah, I want to say, I was trying to think of when that Wemby picture was uploaded, right? So that Wemby where they showed like the 101 superfractor with the auto and all that, it actually looked pretty nice. So I was thinking, oh, you know what, this might be kind of cool. But it wasn't the case, obviously. And I think I burnt myself out on making meme posts and stuff at this point. But yeah, I was fairly disappointed in that release. It was touted as the renaissance of Topps Chrome. And then we got a set that looked nothing like Topps Chrome. And it just looked lazy. I don't know any other way to explain it. It looked like they dredged up some photos that they had laying on the cutting room floor and threw them in there and then threw some random design in the background, right? So just disappointing overall to me.
I think you're absolutely right. Like, if they call it the renaissance of Topps Chrome, it's like the dark ages in kind of a way. Boom, history joke.
Right.
I'll say I think two very different ends of the spectrum. I'll say I think basketball Topps Chrome is the worst looking product I've ever seen. I don't know if you guys agree.
Ooh, it's definitely up there.
It's up there.
There's definitely like some very weird, obscure like Panini products that I don't love.
I don't know, dude. The chrome looks really bad.
I mean, like I will always go back to like, you know how we used to spend like hours looking at like the shit emoji cards. I'm like,
I would rather have those.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Those Donruss rocket emojis or whatever they are.
Those are pretty bad. The negatives for Topps Chrome this year.
They look monsters.
Those look really bad. So Ryan, forgive me if I'm going to ask you a stupid question right now. That has never existed before, correct? Not for Topps Chrome.
No, I think it's a baseball thing. I think that's why they wanted to throw it into basketball. I don't know if you guys saw my one on the Dan Issel. It's literally does look like a monster.
I did.
Maybe I did see that. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
That's literally why I said that. It looked crazy.
Yeah, it was like a little Family Guy spoof. And I thought, I put in my story post on Instagram, and I thought, this is going to go away in 24 hours. So I put it on YouTube, and suddenly it's my most viewed video. It's got like 8K views.
There you go.
Ridiculous.
Shit.
So I'm like, hey, I got to use Family Guy more for these.
I mean,
but yeah, it's pretty bad.
There's nothing wrong with trying something new, and I want to make that clear. Like, I think we kind of all understand why Topps Chrome basketball came back this year unlicensed. It's Victor Wembanyama hype. You want to have autos of him. People are going to pay whatever they wanted to. I completely get it. I don't know how well these cards generally are going to age outside of the Victor stuff. Like, a couple handful of rookies who might be pretty good will probably have some decent value. And then LeBron James is signing again, sure. But beyond maybe 5-6 players, what are all these cards going to end up being worth in 3 to 5 years when Topps Chrome does have a license again and does actually put more effort in? I don't think this is a conversation about like, oh, we hate Fanatics, we hate Topps, like this is so bad. It's more of like, this is rushed, kind of lazy. I know why it exists, but 98% of this will be under $10 in 5 years.
I think it already is.
Jesus Christ.
I was thinking, this is quarter bin.
It really is.
It's that bad. I mean, yeah, and exactly. Like if they came out with something that was cool, I wouldn't be thrown under the bus because it was unlicensed. A lot of people have specifically stated like all these people are hating on it. What was there's Sports Card Nonsense? Is that podcast? I think that he was talking about everybody's hating on this product because it's unlicensed. It's like, no, that's not the reason they're hating on it. It just looks like garbage, man. So
yeah, I mean, even if these had licenses now, I still think people would say it doesn't visually look good because it would still kind of just be kind of strange. Like they didn't do their best here from a design perspective.
I will say real quick, I do think, like you said, and I think like I've said, the football looks as good as it could look being unlicensed, I think.
Which is weird. Like the football does look good. Maybe it's more because they use like action shots.
They just use better photography. They probably took more time. Weirdly enough, they took more time on the football than basketball. I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, Topps can make a pretty good unlicensed product. Composite football actually looks pretty good, especially the RPAs. I kind of like them. Now, that's obviously the same question of like what players are going to hold up their market in 5 years, and it's going to be maybe a couple of the quarterbacks. I can't say everyone, but a lot of those will not generally hold their value a couple of years from now. But the second you have a Topps Chrome football that's licensed again, dude, any of those non-number parallels or any of those number parallels are like mid players go to zero, in my opinion.
So. Yeah, I think the big thing about basketball is the fact that they changed from that in-game photography into this weird mishmash of like, I call it like finest and prism mashup almost. Like the backgrounds are just this weird, almost looks like AI generated it, to be honest. It's all kinds of different colors and stuff. It doesn't really make much sense
to me, but it feels like they gave like an 8-year-old Photoshop and didn't tell them how to use it.
yeah, no joke.
There's a time and place for that kind of stuff, but when the general consensus is this visually looks bad, then you start nitpicking on stuff like that. Because once again, if it overall looked decent, sure, you could be nitpicky and complain, but like it's the majority of the cards kind of look like shit. So just gonna be an interesting time there. I know that we are calling them all pajama cards, so I'm the pajama podcaster today, by the way. It's just a tough time right now with this stuff. I want to like the new product, but we're basically really in an ugly divorce for another 2 to 3 years. I'm not sure when Topps officially takes over the football and basketball license, but this is kind of the start of the trend, at least for 2 to 3 to 4 years, give or take. So
I think it's 2026 for NBA. I'm not sure about football.
Okay, but so that's still going to be summer of 2027, like or I guess summer of 2027, give or take, because they just are. They're not even finishing up the calendar year of this draft class, and I don't even know in Panini's world where they sit for basketball products, because NT's not out yet. Flawless is not out yet, which is like the signal usually of the draft.
I think Flawless, the previous one, came out at the end of this season. Like Flawless, like just came out.
It's very late nowadays. Yeah.
This is just so. I've stopped caring and keeping up with it because it just it makes me sad every time I talk about the checklists or the timing or like when something's gonna come out, because it's just not gonna ever be at a relevant time. Yeah. And let me speak nicely about Topps and Fanatics for a second. Their baseball stuff, when they've done well with it, has been pretty good. They're on schedule for a lot of stuff. A lot of products coming out during the baseball season. A lot of the good products are either here or have come out or are about to, X, Y, and Z, whatever. Great to see. I would be really, really happy. And that's like the main thing I want. If football and basketball can get out at least some decent product during the actual season when they are rookies, I don't think I'm asking too much. Very little redemptions and products coming out during the season is like the only two things I truly, really want. And I don't even think it's unrealistic.
Yeah, I think they're still saying, the pandemic messed them up so bad. It's like, that's years ago, guys. Come on. They're using that as an excuse nowadays. And it's like, that's not an excuse anymore, in my opinion, at least.
It's been almost 5 years, right? I mean,
it's 4.5 years, dude.
That's crazy.
Literally, March 2020 is 4.5 years ago. Like, how much longer is COVID an excuse, quote unquote? Is supply chain issues an excuse, quote unquote? Panini's going out like a punk bitch, and like I'm all for it. They are. I am so I've been in sports cards only a decade. I got in 2014, 2015. Like, I still have some perspective. I've gotten to the point now where like I have, historical references and knowledge of things. I didn't collect as a kid just because I was not exposed to it. I found it as an adult, and I love it. And I've seen Panini go and lose any and all credibility they had when I got into cards. It's just like, they become a joke. They don't care anymore. They're not innovated. Topps will try things. It might not work most of the time or some of the time, but they'll try things. And I'm willing to give them a very long leash if they can figure out just these like very simple things. I don't get why Topps Chrome Basketball, your Renaissance product, visually looks pretty bad. Your football looks pretty decent. And you're about to take over all these incredible licenses and get to the point where you're going to own everything. Why are we fucking around and and messing up this when it's like your first real step into a product that could have been not iconic? It's not the right word, but like you're taking an iconic brand and kind of messing it up a little bit.
Yeah, it could have been so much better. I mean, there's been people in the community, like just regular collectors, that have put photos where a guy's dunking, you can't see the logo, you can see the number, and it looks 10 times better than what we got. So there's ways to do it. They just decided they would just cheap out. That's my opinion on it. It's just, okay, we got Wemby. All that, to be honest, like the Wemby stuff looks okay. Like it's designed decently. They took their time with it. It just makes sense. Can't say the same for the other rookies, but at least for him, I mean, he's driving the product, right? His stuff looks decent.
Not for nothing. That is really all the people care about, because they're going Wemby hunting. They're not going Bilal Coulibaly hunting per se.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a lotto ticket. basically.
No. Well, dude, that is, I mean, our industry as a whole has become a lot of gambling, whether it is directly through repacks and breaking or opening a $600 box of cards. It's fun gambling, but it is gambling. You know, do I love that? No. Sorry, I'm not in love with the idea of shit getting too expensive, but it's unfortunately just kind of how things have become. And I do not remember the last box of cards I opened that was not Japanese baseball. Oops. It's been a couple of years, I would say. I don't really know the last product I opened that wasn't $50 for a hobby box because it's just not in English.
I opened some Panini Top Class. I don't know if you've heard of this. It's
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, it's it's like the only. I was just looking for something over for my kids that looked nice. And a buddy of mine was like, "Hey, I got these imported from somewhere in Europe, and they're actually kind of nice designs. You can get, I don't know, bought a bunch of like the fat packs, I guess they call them, right, for $20 a piece. You know, you'd probably get half the number of cards for $40 at a Target for Prism or any of the other stuff. So that's literally the last basketball product I've opened, and before that is probably maybe like 17, 18 stuff. It just
I see Top Class for soccer. I don't even see for basketball. Oh god.
Yeah. Yeah, they do have the soccer or football release. We actually got some of those too, because my oldest is kind of into soccer. But yeah, I mean, for just a cheap rip where there's no parallels, there's no numbered cards, there's like, well, I guess I take that back. There are a couple parallels, but there's no numbered cards. There's, your gold prisms and all that kind of stuff that drive up the price. All the autos are really hard to hit, but they're just sticker cards. But if you've got one, that's kind of fun. And that's what I rip with my kids. And other than that, I'm not buying anything at Target. I just don't feel like the value's there. I don't want to spend $40 for them to pull 50 cents worth of cards, It just seems like a waste.
Did either of you guys see the Score Halloween cards already in stores and people were just buying them out?
Yeah.
Like, I think it was like $5 or $6 per pack, and people were selling them on like Whatnot or something. It was.
Is that the Costco stuff?
I don't know. I know it was Target. I know it was Target at least. It might be Costco as well.
They had football and basketball, I think, right?
As far as I know, which is like. I don't know. Once Panini loses their licenses, they're dead in the water, dude. Like, they're gonna be really pumping, I guess, WNBA, Premier League. I think they own La Liga too, and maybe UFC. I don't know exactly. I'm gonna check Panini's website real quick. I'm gonna see what licenses they still actually own. Yeah, but like, they are going to fall apart so badly.
People were buying the like JJ McCarthy's and stuff from those packs for like $50, like the base Halloween rookies.
Well,
Jesus Christ.
But I do wonder if the terribleness of Topps Chrome will kind of pump up the old Chrome finest, etc. market even more. I mean, I think people were maybe holding their breath that it would look like somewhat decent enough to where it could be a cheaper option. But with how bad it is, I wonder if that kind of stuff's going to start going nuclear again.
Yeah, it could be. I was kind of around for the initial Topps Chrome pump of, what was it, maybe I can't remember when that stuff blew up again, 2016 or something, and everybody wanted the Topps Chrome refractors, and I was like, cool, and I got some of these. So I sold a bunch back then. But yeah, it's always interesting to see what they're going to do when they bring back these products, and it's a whole different company, And obviously they messed this one up. I'm just hoping they can learn from it, and by the time they get the license, it'll look decent. Because I hate throwing them under the bus, but it's so bad. You gotta say something about it.
No, listen, and not for nothing, I can tell you from personal experience as well. When you're negative and you want to be constructive about things, sometimes good things happen. Yep. I've been working with the National. I'm openly saying that now. I think it's okay to. I'm trying to help them make their show a little bit better, quote unquote, to a younger demographic. And frankly, if I help them make it 1% better for the entire industry, I did my job. Like, let's be real, dude. Like, I think there's a lot of conversations that can be had. And I mean, yeah, memes are fun. Like, you're poking fun. I get it. But like, if Fanatics called you tomorrow and said, hey, we want to actually sit down with you and have like an actual conversation about this, I think, Ryan, you would go in and have a intelligent, high level conversation with them. And you know what? They might take away a couple of ideas that were good. They might not love everything you said, but guess what? If you can have an intelligent conversation with someone, you know what? Maybe they are willing to listen and hear back that criticism or feedback. They might agree with you, like, hey, we're kind of lazy on this one, or hey, you know, that's a good idea. We should do like that instead, use more action shots or X, Y, and Z or whatever it's going to be. Mm-hmm. But it's like, you would be shocked at what can happen here when you have the ability to have like a actual conversation about it and what good things can come from it.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, I definitely would help them out. I doubt they'd ever ask, but if they did,
not for nothing. We do have friends who work at Fanatics who do listen to the podcast, so like it would not shock me if that ends up being something. But what I will not defend is Panini here for a second because they're about to. Here's their official licenses. I'm going to read them off real quick: NFL, NBA, NFLPA. That goes all three of those. National Basketball Players Association, which I assume they lose as well with the NBA. WNBA, nice. WWE, FIFA, NASCAR, League One, La Liga, and Serie A. So that's Spanish, Italian, and I believe French leagues as well as the Premier League. Okay. So soccer in general they will own, except for Dynasty Soccer, which has been incredible.
Best product.
Mm-hmm. The best product. We were way off on the price of that. I think it's like $2 or $3 grand per box.
No,
that's what I saw a couple weeks ago. I don't know if it's still at that or not.
Yeah. So, cool. You got your Prism stuff and maybe Floss if you have to run it, Panini. But good luck. Turkish Airlines Euro League.
That stuff, just because of Wemby and Luka, that stuff sells.
I don't know what the UNFP is. I assume that's. I don't know what the UNFP actually is.
The what?
The UNFP. It's definitely a soccer league, and then they have the UV Golf. I assume that's UV Golf. I don't know what that is. Hang on, we're googling this.
Well, golf is on the for the most part, right?
It's the United Nations Football League. Wait, what? What the fuck is this?
I think their European branch has been a lot more. I don't know. It's been a lot nicer of cards in general than when they brought over their American branch. And in my opinion, at least it was more consistent and a little bit better quality. And not to say that the quality of stuff has been bad, but I think they're going back to more of the European roots, which is probably good because they probably came over with the Panini America and it just got a little bit out of control, especially these last couple of years, you know.
So you can call me dumb, but you know what? This kind of does look like a U. It's Live Golf, LIV, not UV, but it does. I'm gonna put the logo up. You can roast me if you want, but it kind of looks like a U. My bad. It is the.
Everyone knows what Live Golf is.
I have no idea what Live. I have no idea
it's
what
like the Saudi Arabian golf league. They bought a bunch of golfers, and
that's what I assumed.
They just remerged with PGA. I'm pretty sure a year ago.
Okay, cool. That I can figure out. I mean, you have a Callaway hat on, so you actually either you golf or you.
They were paying random golfers $100 million to play in their league.
Jesus Christ!
For no reason.
I've swung a golf club maybe 3 times.
You could have played in Live.
You want to sponsor the Soul Turley podcast? Can I reach out to them? What are we doing here? Other than mini golf, which I fucking love mini golf. I've swung a real golf club twice in my life. I am. Kai, this might shock you. I am not posh enough to play golf.
I could see you being decent at mini golf.
I fuck around.
I don't think you would last 18 holes though.
I don't think I could. I think I would break a couple of clubs if I was to play an actual 18 holes of golf. I don't have it in me.
I play twice a year. I'm not a huge golfer, but My brother is, so I go out with him. Yeah, again, like twice a year.
Yeah, I mean,
me to come out.
I'm sure it's fun. It's just not.
It's fun.
Not,
yeah. It's hard though. I mean, if you don't keep up on it, you're tracking your ball through, the woods and stuff like that constantly.
Yep. I don't even think I remember the woods. This is great. What else? What else is going on here?
Can we talk about Ryan's cards now?
Oh yeah,
sure.
I don't know. I just personally love the stuff you kind of go after. So I don't know if you just kind of want to talk about what if you goals, or you just kind of buy what you think looks cool, or how you kind of go about that kind of stuff.
Mainly a Nuggets collector, as you can probably tell from my page. It's mostly Nuggets stuff, just because I grew up with the Nuggets. My family moved to Denver in 96. So that's mainly what I'm into. And I like putting team sets together. So I think a lot of probably that stuff that we're looking at on the screen there is, there's some Prism stuff as well, but it's just that's the most fun for me, at least on the sports side. It's just putting together a set of something, and I gravitated towards the Nuggets when I got back into collecting again, which is around, I don't know, early 2010s, I guess. But yeah, it's just been a fun journey just to put together, stuff like this, like we're seeing.
Oh, wow. How have you not had the urge to grade the Jokic gold?
I know, yeah. A lot of people have asked me that.
You better make sure, dude, your kids and your wife understand, hey, you do not get this stuff. If I disappear, this has to go to grading.
I have to ask. Did you get into some of the bigger Jokic and Murray stuff kind of before it blew up, or no?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That gold, $60.
Jesus
Which
Christ,
Jokic or Murray?
Yeah.
Jokic?
Yeah.
Oh
I actually paid $200 for the Moutier back then, which was it was a bigger card because he was more, I think he was drafted 7th or something like that, or low teens, lottery. I can't remember.
I have to see what the Jokic is at. I'm just curious.
I mean, we know Shane. Do you know Shane?
Yeah,
Nuggets collector.
Yeah, I figured you did. Yeah, I mean, he's owned at least one or two of the golds, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I told a buddy of mine who's a big Nuggets guy. I don't know if he has a big presence on social media, but I was like, okay, I've got this stuff. If I ever just pass away, you can help my wife and sell it, because I understand that it's worth a lot of money, but to me, it's always just been about collecting the team sets. And if I went and graded that one, then I couldn't put it in the binder. I know it sounds odd given probably the price that it would command, but I just can't do that yet. At some point, sure, I probably will. I've held on to a couple key Jokic cards that I'm just going to keep, but I've sold a lot of stuff as well. So it helps me collect other things,
I don't even know what to value the gold at for reference, at least publicly, of course. The highest sale ever is the White Sparkle BGS 10 doing 30 grand. But here's a true gold. I imagine it's probably in pretty good shape if it's been in a binder for 10 years, give or take.
Right.
You theoretically could name your price on it. The Mojo is probably there's a PSA 9.
You scrolled by a 10 too.
Did I? Oh, sorry. Thank you. 14, and this did 20. This was 2014 or 2024, 2022. Yeah. PSA 9 doing 12.6, 14.4. You have a college tuition in a binder.
Nice little house in that binder.
Yeah. You want to buy my house for me? You just have to give me 2 of your cards.
Yeah, maybe someday I look and retire. We'll get it graded.
Yeah. I mean, listen, that's a pretty. Can't retire off Jokic per se. You can put a nice little chunk or a very wild vacation into it. Just crazy, dude. More power to you. I couldn't do it. In fact, if you cracked this Carmelo Anthony gold refractor rookie,
that that was actually, if you look at the date on it, December 2020, and people gave me a lot of shit for that back then because they're like, dude, this is gonna be whatever value card. And I was like, well, I need it in my binder, man. So I cracked it out. I don't know, and that's like, to me, it's always been about just the fun of collecting. And that one, I can't remember what I paid for it, but it wasn't anywhere close to what it is nowadays, right? But I got a little bit of OCD too, so I take those binders, and if there's like a missing gap, it bothers me until it gets filled. So if I took it out of there, I'd probably lose my mind a little bit. So
I was gonna ask, do you like go set by set, or do you kind of just do a conglomerate of like whatever you find, like you'll buy it like as you go?
Topps Chrome, Topps Finest, probably my two biggest like team sets from that late 90s 2000s era. And then I used to do Prism the whole time, and I dialed it back in 2020 because we all know that prices went crazy. Been focusing on Optic more, actually. Optic kind of reminds me more of Chrome, at least recent years. So that's what I focus on in the Nuggets. And then I'll pick up cards here and there. Like I used to do RPAs every year, like NT RPA, until Michael Porter Jr. got drafted, and then his stuff was crazy. It's probably back then it was nothing even compared to what it is now, but couldn't really justify the price. So I pick them up years later. Like I think I just picked up a Campazzo. What was his name? Facundo Campazzo. He's like a Spanish player.
Oh, Fernandez Campazzo.
Yeah. Dropped in 2019. I got that one for like $30. So I wait a number of years until they drop into that range.
Oh man, is that a Jokic logo, man?
There's
yeah.
one right there.
Oh.
That was my biggest Jokic card that I
bought. Gold NC rookie auto of Jokic because he has no RPAs.
Yeah.
It's not NC.
I'm hanging on to that one. I used to have 4 or 5 of the regular NTs, and I sold them in like 2017 or 18 when he first kind of got popular. Cool. Yeah, that's a cool one. That's a Leaf. So, unlicensed can be cool.
Yeah, listen, some of the best cards I've ever owned, like visually patch-wise, are Leaf products like this.
Yeah, I mean, they make a lot of stuff that looks terrible too. So I won't say that all their stuff is great, but just like any manufacturer, some of their stuff is really awesome. So
that's what I was talking
please watch.
There's a meme that slips in there every once in a while.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that's Kirk Cousins can rock it. You cannot rock it. I'm sorry.
But yeah, that's just been my collecting. Is just like a lot of times if something gets too blown up, I will deviate. Like now I'm collecting a lot of like vintage non-sports stuff, which has kind of been a side PC for years, but sports cards are really, at least the stuff that I want, is hard to come by and pricey. So I've been collecting like random Abraham Lincoln cards from the early 1900s, just weird stuff like that. You know? Yeah. Just something that keeps my interest in collecting. And I can't say I touch much new stuff, but every once in a while, if I find a good deal, I sort of like the Prism Mojos. I go after those. They don't seem to be as hyped as like the gold, so you can still find stuff for cheap. Yeah, there's kind of an example of putting that set together. Actually, that's a really cool set.
As far as like Jokic, maybe Jamal Murray too, but like, do you think it's at a point for you where it like doesn't make sense to buy anything, or are there any kind of like missing pieces you're still like looking for?
That's a good question.
I probably will try for some of the Prism Golds that I skipped in the past couple of years, and I usually try to like trade into them because it's hard to justify dropping hundreds or thousands of dollars or whatever on this stuff. But if I can trade into it from something that I got years ago for $50, let's say, and now it's worth a couple hundred or something like that, I like doing that. But yeah, that's kind of how I see it. I'm not buying a ton of Jokic stuff. Here and there, if I see like a card that, I think this design looks kind of cool. I can't remember I think it was like a Contenders something or other of Jokic that I bought recently, and it was maybe $100, but I just thought the photo was cool. and I'll go after stuff like that. But mainly, I like try to not just buy everything nowadays, because you can go down this very slippery slope and be in debt from doing that, which, you know, I don't really want to do.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one interesting thing too, is like, as someone who is definitely a dealer, like I identify as a dealer. I'm the worst person in the world. I know, but like, there is that funny, interesting thing that when I see people who come from like nothing in terms of cards financially, all of a sudden get all this amazing stuff, and then all of a sudden kind of can't afford it. I made a joke about that a couple days ago. I think it's something like the average American has $6,500 in debt, and I think it's like 50% or 40% of people in the U.S. admit to having some kind of debt in general. How many of those people are in trading cards? How many people are set up as dealers? How many of those people are spending way more they reasonably could afford to on sports cards, hoping that the market only stays up and can't ever go down? And cards can't ever go down. What are you talking about? Cards don't go down. And then you buy a Zach Wilson or Mac Jones, any Jones.
It's a real thing, and I think that's what a lot of people don't understand, is that trajectory that we saw. Well, maybe they do understand it nowadays, because if they started collecting back in the pandemic, or that's when they got back into it, they've probably seen the dips and the drops and all this. But now we're kind of on this new hype cycle. So there's always going to be a new hype cycle, but you always have to just slow down a little bit and tell yourself, is this something I should really be dropping all this money on? And that's why I try to work my way into it with selling stuff or trading. I don't know, is trading a big thing nowadays when you do shows? Do people try to trade into things and
listen,
sell cards to buy other cards?
Yeah, I think that's a very
do it.
It's a very intelligent way to do things. I mean, I am way more receptive to trades in general than most people are in sports cards. For me, it is a numbers game. Like, dude, I bought a Lance Stroll F1 card. I don't even know who this is. I don't watch F1. I'm a very traditional sports watcher. Football, baseball, basketball. I'll go see hockey games in real life if I can. I've never watched F1 before in my life. But you know what? I got it at a decent deal. You know what I'm trading back for? 1952 Topps cards. The only person I recognize in the lot I'm getting back is Don DiMaggio. That's it. It's a couple $100 worth of stuff plus some cash on top. I got my number. Move on. You know what? I know someone else is going to want these cards. I know someone else is going to want this one. Hey, I just made $100, let's say, on this one deal. That's pretty cool. Do I really care what I got back? I should. Probably should. But you know what? I know 52 Topps will sell. Might not sell to me, but you know where it'll probably sell? eBay. Move on. Move those cards. Or maybe someone will end up DMing me about them because they need them for their set. And all of a sudden, all right, cool. That one little play that was $225, $250, give or take, now is $350, $375. And it kind of just like spiders itself out. Sometimes you get burnt by that. But honestly, I've done very well with that for almost a decade. And it's generally worked in my favor from like a dealer, quote unquote, flipping perspective. But I'm also like not in people's faces about it. It just kind of is one of those things where like it's that's more fun to me. It's just like watching a deal kind of like grow as a result of like just buying or trading for just fun product in general.
Yeah, that's great, man. Because I really like that. And you know, some people hate the flipping game, but honestly, it's been around for years and years, and I have some of my cards because of that. Because somebody was willing to go out there and spend that cash on that card, knowing that they're going to get a couple hundred more, or whatever the profit is going to be, and then it can land in my PC. And a lot of times they do work with me on trades or whatever. So I think from a collector perspective, you have to be open to that and not. And I know a lot of old school collectors are just very negative on the whole flipping aspect of it, have been for years. But as long as it's done right and there's like the way you're doing it is like, okay, well, yeah, if I can obtain some cards from you that I know I can sell for more, sure, I'll do it. And from my perspective, if I was like the person trading those cards, hey, this is a large lot of cards. I know it's worth more than what I'm getting back, but I really want that one card that would complete my set, or just be, the top card of this player, whatever the case may be, why you want it. And then you're happy, that person's happy. As long as you're not trying to nickel and dime, I really like that kind of stuff.
Well, that's the funny thing about this too, is like I've had conversations with my friends to like not even try to get into sports cards, but like try to like understand like the business side of it, quote unquote. And if you're willing to just be receptive and adaptive, you can do so much better than those like, oh, I need to only buy downtowns and kabooms. I only buy LeBron James top chromes, MJ Fleers at 87% comps. I have to go sell it for 91%, or I can't afford my rent, and I need to buy this at this percentage, or else I'm going to die. Do you have downtowns and kabooms? I need those downtown kabooms. I'm paying 80% on those. Help me. Like, very
themselves.
It's dude, Kai. What do you want to set the line at? How many people asking us if we're buying downtowns or kabooms or K6? 9.5.
I'm just gonna tell them that you're buying them and not.
I fucking hate you. I'm going to make sure that you do not want to set up in Dallas with me ever again. After this.
I mean, that's like the worst part of setting up. Is just dealing with that.
They all sound the same. Like, Ryan, I'm happy you've never had to deal with this. I make this joke a lot. I really call people NPCs both in real life and on Instagram a lot, because they're all the exact same. They say the same exact 5 lines. Let me cash you out, bro. I'm cash heavy. What percent you need when you get to this, and leave some meat on the bone for me. And any downtown kabooms, K6, whatever. They all say the same exact thing. They all pay roughly the same percentage. 85 to 90, 91% of it's like really, really good stuff. They're all the exact same. So it doesn't actually matter. It only comes down to like, can you talk to me like a human being? If so, maybe we can get something done. The amount of people who come to my table at shows don't even say hi. And Kai can attest this to you. Kai, do I greet every person who comes to the table?
Yeah,
I'm pretty good at being social. Like, I have no problem talking to anyone about anything. Hey, if you guys want to, you see anything closer, you have any questions, like, let me know. Happy to help. There are those who will not even acknowledge that. Pull out their phone, go to alt, go to card ladder, scan the card, be like, the last comp is $800. Take $650. No, okay, move on. Like,
it's honestly worse with like kids. Ironically, like they're like starting to be like programmed to communicate that way. It's like weird to see.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to sound like those damn kids and their damn technology, but like that is
true.
And that is one thing that is really bad. I mean, there are people our age, Kai, and a little bit younger who are worse. Like there are. I gotta be careful how I phrase this. There are some who are our age, roughly, who I legitimately think there's something wrong with them because of how they act at a card show. I legitimately think there's something neurologically wrong because they cannot function as a human being. And that is the person I think of when I make NPC jokes, because I truly cannot tell, and that is really worrying to me.
Yeah. No, I can see that, man. For the shows that I go to and bring my kids to, I'm just like, let's go look at stuff that looks cool.
Yeah.
I'll try to bring money into the equation because I really don't want them to be the Zion carrying case kids if they even do get into it. Like, my kids aren't into sports cards. But, like, yeah, it's fine if you're into it, but it's just like, it seems like it's almost, hey, let's go celebrate our favorite athletes by buying some of their cards. Instead of that mentality, which has always been kind of my drive, it's now, what can I make a profit from this card? Let me go flip it to this guy. Let me flip it. Yep. And I guess that's fun in a way, but like you said earlier in the podcast, is that a hobby anymore?
It's not. It's not a hobby. Yeah. I don't call it the sports card hobby anymore. I call it the industry, and I will stand by that forever. What I truly collect, because I don't collect cards anymore, is game-worn jerseys. They're much cheaper. They're much more cool to me. And you know what? Like, I grew up a Rutgers fan. I have a lot of Rutgers game-worn jerseys of players I liked as a kid growing up. I appreciate those way, way more than Kenny Britt was a pretty decent wide receiver in the NFL for, 8 or 9 years. I have 2 or 3 game-worn jerseys of him. And I bought an immaculate logo patch of him. It's somewhere on my desk. It's a mess. Sorry. But that was $55. The jersey I bought, one of them was like $300. Would I rather have 6 logo patches or a full game-worn jersey? And to me, the answer is pretty clear. Like, what am I doing? It's just better, quote unquote. Like, if I'm really trying to keep something forever, I'd rather own a jersey. I think it's more fun.
Definitely. No, I mean, you get every patch possible.
Yeah, right?
Whatever the print run was of the cards.
Make your own trading card set.
Yeah.
I mean, in theory, yeah, you could make a custom card if you wanted. So I know Kai, you had recently gotten some logo patches like Julio Jones. I know obviously his stuff is way more expensive than Kenny Britt, but the same principle kind of goes hand in hand. I don't want to blow up your spot on like what you paid or what you have still of that stuff. You're even keeping
I mean, like, I'll just talk about the Julios. I mean, it was like, I don't know if you guys are familiar. It's like the Immaculate set where it's the jumbo patch and they like signed it. I don't know if you guys have seen those, but it was two Julio Joneses and they like went together and made the full signature. And to my knowledge, it's Julio Jones's only ever game used like patch auto ever made of any set of anything. I paid like, I want to say like $600 or $700 for the two cards, and I made good money on them. But yeah, I mean, I probably could buy a gamer of Julio with what I sold him for.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, not for that looks like shit. Hang on,
I don't think they've ever been on like eBay, but yeah.
Yeah, there's like the Nike swoosh one doing 12. It's gonna look bad. There's the NFL Shield. There's the full like Falcon for $500 game worn. But the two that Kai has, can you send me?
You can type in Steve Young Immaculate Auto or something. Like his just sold the pair of them.
So they were signed. The jersey was signed, and then they split the
right there, the third one down. This is exactly what the Julio.
Oh, nice. That is cool.
And they're numbered to like 2 or 3, and they put the full signature together.
Yeah, it's badass. I mean, send me a picture of it too if you can. Kind of put it in the podcast too of your Julio. But
I honestly don't know if I have a picture of them.
Do you have the cards still?
Sold them.
Oh shit! Okay, all right, never mind.
We
Then
talked about it that one day.
My bad. I
basically sold everything that wasn't the Matt Ryan, so I could just free roll into those.
Okay, but hey, the same conversation point we're just saying. Kai is a Falcons fan. He's keeping the stuff he really, really wanted to.
Yeah.
Versus, all right, cool. This profit's amazing. Like, I'm gonna go get whatever I want to, and now I can free roll into stuff I'm a big fan of. Cool. Best position to be in. For me, that
is
not the same, unfortunately. But you know what? I respect those who can do that. Because that's way more fun and frankly better in terms of a hobby. But
yeah, I think I don't know, man. Jerseys is cool. I don't have any myself, but
dude, it's more fun for displaying purposes.
I don't even want to know what like a Jokic game worn jersey would be.
They're like 20 grand, I believe, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah, maybe we'll go with the just the signed authentic jersey from Fanatics.
I'll tell you right now.
You could probably get a cool like J.R. Smith Nuggets.
I love J.R. Smith.
Yeah.
I'm
always kind of looking for like Gallinari and Gary Harris stuff. They were two of my favorite Nuggets players, and I have seen their game worn stuff go every once in a while, and I somehow always forget to bid on them or just not look in the right places, and then see it a couple months after. So,
not for nothing, Jokic game worn jersey gear, $4,200. Current bid ending in 2 days. This does not sound that bad compared to like
not terrible.
You know what you could buy in Jokic right now at 10 to 15 grand if it ends in that range. Doesn't sound that bad to get a full game worn jersey. He had a triple double in the game too. This was during his MVP season.
Oh, okay, that is cool.
30 points, 13 rebounds, 12 assists, 2 blocks, 3 steals. The Nuggets did lose the game, but not for nothing.
No.
Pretty cool.
But still, compared to some cards. So, yeah. Just given what Logo Man cards are running for nowadays, I bet you that ends at half the price, if not less. Would be my guess.
No, I wanted to see what was currently a 15 for reference, but whatever. We're just gonna go through this real quick. Oh man, I can get a signed auto of him and.
Yeah, I've seen that card a bunch of times since it was pulled.
24.9. Hey, you could have your Jokic gold right there that you had before, if it was 9.5 theoretically, or a full game worn jersey from his MVP season.
Yeah,
Jesus,
I know. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, that's the thing about cards, man. Is it's kind of like they go through these hype cycles, and if you're, like you said, if you're truly collecting like a team, it's almost better to just get the memorabilia at this point, bro, because you're paying a lot less for it. And
the black box version of his rookie auto from NT, 10 grand. So Not even a true rookie.
Yeah.
Possibly can get a game worn jersey instead. Possibly. It could end for more, probably well, but like just out of the conversation.
But still, that's interesting.
Wild. What a world, dude.
You don't have people constantly going on Instagram pumping up game worn stuff. I'm sure it'd be on a different level if you did. That's just the reality we live in with cards, So
there was one question we got asked by Upstate. I should have prepped you for this, so I'm sorry. He was going to ask you to rank your top 5 refractor sets, if you have anything like in mind, and how you find rare stuff, because obviously you have a pretty insane Nuggets collection. I guess the answer to that one is just buy early. Just buy your favorite cards early.
Top 5. Are we talking like Topps Chrome, Prism, anything? Any kind of
just your favorite in general refractor set, and I'll pull up visual examples as you go through.
Probably my favorite is 0607 Topps Chrome. Let's see, what's another really good year? I actually think 0809 was nice, even though there wasn't a ton of Nuggets in that set. And then probably the 96, a classic 96 Chrome would come in third. Just doing this off the top of my head, but
sorry.
Probably if I thought about it more, it'd be close.
It's almost like I'm a podcaster. I should fucking do my best questions to answer. Oops.
So that 0607 set, I actually put the full refractor set together, not just Nuggets, but the full thing over many years. And because it was just my favorite, there wasn't a ton of big rookies in it. So when I got back into collecting, and this is probably around the time that Panini took over, honestly, like you could buy boxes for $80 or $100. So I started putting just the base set together. I'm like, refractor set I could do because they're so cheap and you can get them on ComC for $1 and stuff like that. Yeah, just really love the design of that one.
96
the 96. That's so one of my other big PCs. It's actually kind of predates Nugget stuff. Is Topps Chrome rookie cards.
Okay.
And so that was kind of like a set that I was, how everybody wants to buy like rookies, especially in basketball. If you think about it, like we're almost programmed to be rookie card collectors, even since the 90s when they started putting a little RC logo on it, on the cards. This is actually, they didn't do that in 96. But anyway, I was like, okay, instead of just buying whatever the most hype rookie is at the time, I can't even remember what I was buying like back in that 2012 season, like Anthony Davis and stuff like that, which is good because I could actually sell that stuff a couple years ago for a nice profit. But I was like, I like Topps Chrome, let's go with that. And so that was one of my earliest PCs, is just rookie cards. I got a big binder and a big box full of graded stuff. So yeah, that would probably be, where are we at now? Number 3? I don't know.
Yeah, 96, 2006, or 2007. You said one more.
0607. And actually, 0607 had like the throwback 96 design. Those were pretty cool too. So they had like the same design that it were like an insert set. And then I guess we'll just move into like Prism. I really like that 2015 set, and that's obviously Jokic's rookie year. But I just thought the photography on that set was more reminiscent of Chrome than anything else. Not necessarily the rookies, but just the base set. Even the rookies are decent, but that
it's definitely better than the curtain behind Wemby.
Well, I'll also say I think 15, maybe 16 are probably 2 of the last years before they started putting like 500 different colors in. So I really like it because of that too.
Yeah, that's very true. Because if you're gonna try to train or chase parallels, I know a guy that's trying to complete. I think it was because I collect Gary Harris, so I know the 2 other Gary Harris collectors on the planet, and he's trying to put together. I think it's a Prism. It must have been 2 years ago run, and it's like 60 parallels or something. Like, good luck, man. He's pretty close too. I think he's missing like one of the 101s and like 2 other parallels that never show up. But I don't think I could ever do it. It's just too much. What else was nice? Like 12-13 Prism. Those were nice, and I do like 14-15 as well. They remind me of more of Finest, but those are nice. But yeah, I mean, 12, 13, first year, you got a lot of great rookies in that double rookie class. So I've used to have almost all those rookies. Some of them I sold during the pandemic because stuff like Kyrie Irving and Kawhi Leonard went kind of crazy. So I'm like, take some profit and dump it in Nuggets crap. So
outside of your Jokic's, do you have a card similar to that you kind of like bought back then that just blew up and that you sold it and were like, wow, I can't believe I just got that much for that?
Yeah, I want to think of it. Probably just base cards, man. Like in 2020 and 21, I had all these base cards that were graded just because I'd get them in a trade or just buy them, you know, and suddenly they're worth like tons of money, like just base chrome rookies of whoever, right? Or even Prism cards. I was doing so after kind of the Topps Chrome run, I wanted to move into Prism more with rookie cards, and I did do that for a number of years. But then the pandemic hit. Well, even prior to the pandemic, when prices were crazy, I kind of strayed away from it. So when people were buying all that graded base stuff and everybody's like, oh, PSA 10, I sold all that stuff, man. So
yeah.
But yeah, it just surprised me. You know, some of that stuff might be worth a little bit more, but overall, I think I made out pretty well. I bought a bunch of my Logo Mans and stuff and Nuggets and like really rare crap because of stuff that I sold in the pandemic. Actually, a lot of, you know, nowadays, like all the PMGs and the Star Rubies and all that stuff is all hype now. But back in 2020, people were going after base rookie cards. And I'm like, what? So I sold that and bought most of the stuff that I needed for like that kind of, those kind of obscure sets. And now I probably couldn't touch them just because your common cards are thousands of dollars now. But
yep,
you know.
So wanted to not end on this, but wanted to get this point across because you mentioned it. On screen is the 2022 checklist of Prism. I don't know why 2023 not low for me. It is what it is. The Prisms are Blue Wave, Green Ice, Green Wave, Hyper Ice, Pink Ice, Pulsar, Red Ice, Red, White, Blue, Ruby Wave, Silver, White, Sparkle. I haven't even got to the numbered ones yet, by the way. Red, Blue, Purple Ice, Blue Ice, Purple, Red Power, Orange Wave, Orange, Pink Pulsar. First off the line, Blue Shimmer, and more. Compared to, Silver's, White, Red, White, Blue, Green, Flash, Orange, Ruby, which are numbered, and then, so on. It's
like 10.
Yeah, there's about 15 here. Yeah, like...
Yeah. And I will say, even back then, we thought that was a lot, but it doesn't compare anything to what it is nowadays. I even, back when, what was it? 0809 Chrome, I think they had maybe 7 or 8 parallels and people were freaking out over that.
They had what? Orange, X-Fractor, stuff. I don't remember the other one. White, I think.
Yeah. They had a decent amount. I may have been even less than that, but yeah, nowadays I can't even keep up. And that's the kind of thing that you think about. Is this random out of 25 green shimmer sparkle, is that going to hold any value? Except for like the two generational players that come out of this, past decade or whatever. So yeah, it's just crazy. I don't know. People paying all kinds of money, which is fine. You want to make some money in cards, there's nothing wrong with it. I don't have any problem with it. I've made money. I think that's how you stay engaged in the hobby, but I wouldn't be holding any of the modern stuff that long. Unless, the guy's already generational or something.
Well, then, yeah, you're fine. All right, I have to go. I have to go call someone regarding a house. This has been a fun episode. I am having the worst time. Not because of you guys, but because everything else around me is burning and I need to figure it out.
Distracted. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm incredibly distracted. Ryan, thank you so much for joining. Dude, amazing conversation. You crushed it. Kai, thank you as always. I will see you in 2 days. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. It might be a house order by then. All right. I got to go breathe and call people. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.